Over the last 5 months, I've invested £150 every month in my Trading 212 stocks and shares ISA. And the entire goal of this experience is to show you what you can expect from investing regularly in the stock market. So therefore, in this video, I'll be sharing the exact details of this experiment, from what I started with, the fund I chose to invest in, how I've set up my investing account, and the results I have achieved after 5 months. Before we begin, as always, this is not financial advice, so please practice your own due diligence when investing. All right, let's dive in. It all started on the 16th of April 2025. At that time, I've decided to start an experiment of investing £150 every month, which is an amount that's deemed to be reasonable for a lot of people. But instead of me just chucking that £150 in an investment calculator and showing you what theoretically it'll be like in 5 months' time, I've decided to take a real-life approach and actually put that money in the stock market so we can see real-life results and how it fluctuates as the market changes. And so that's exactly what I did. And with regards to the fund that I chose for this experiment, I went with the almighty S&P 500. And in case you're not familiar with what the S&P 500 is, it's basically just a group of the top 500 American companies all gathered in one pot. And by investing in this pot, you get a piece of each of these companies. I guess the beauty of this is that you don't have to be the one who's doing the market research and analyzing companies to figure out which ones are best. It's all passively done for you as part of the index. And so now that we know the details of the experiment, let me actually show you how to set things up if you want to try this experiment for yourself. For this example, I'm using the Trading 212 app, which is the app that I personally use for my investments. Right, here we are. Now, before you do anything, make sure that you are in the correct account. So Trading 212 has different types of investing accounts. So as you can see here, you got something that's called an invest account, and then we have a stocks and shares ISA account, and there's a third one which is often not talked about a lot, and that's a CFD account, which is the one down here. However, CFDs are quite complex, not to mention that 76% of people who use them end up losing money, and it's mainly because it's targeted towards people who are short-term trading. And this is the exact opposite of what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to ignore CFDs for now. Now, all what we have left is an invest account and a stocks and shares ISA account. So these two are pretty much identical. The only difference really is that the stocks and shares ISA account is shielded from tax. So any gains that you make in there or any dividends that you earn in there are completely tax-free. And who doesn't want that? And so I'm going to go to my Trading 212 stocks and shares ISA account. As you can see, once you're here, you can go and click on this pie icon here at the bottom, and then that will show you your stocks and shares ISA portfolio. And then you just scroll down a bit, and then under here you can see this button that says add new pie. So click on that, and this will allow you to start a pie, which is basically just a Trading 212 feature where you can just add different companies or different index funds and put them under one group. And when you invest into the pie, you basically just invest into all those companies at once rather than having to manually do it once for each company. Okay, so what we want here is click on add instrument, and then here I'm going to search for the fund that we want. So I already said that we want to invest in the S&P 500. So all I have to do is just type S&P 500 in here, and that will come up with a lot of options. So as you can see, there's plenty of S&P 500 providers. To keep things simple, I'm going to go for the Vanguard S&P 500, this one at the very top here. I'm going to select this one, and what I'm going to do is just click add to pie and then click next. And then here, there we go. We have our Vanguard S&P 500 option in the pie, and hit next again. And then here you have the option to either auto invest into this pie or manually invest into it. So if I were to choose between the two, I'd recommend you go with auto invest, because that would mean, first of all, you're not going to forget investing into it. And second of all, you actually eliminate your emotions from the equation. So rather than rely on whether you are in the mood to invest on that month or not, you can just eliminate that and just let the robots do the work for you. And what that means is that if you choose auto invest, the Trading 212 app will automatically deduct money from your linked bank account whenever it's time to invest. Okay, so now let's go with that. So we just hit next. And in this screen, it will ask you to set an initial deposit. So as we said, we want to do £150. So there we go. And we want to invest monthly. So we'll keep that on monthly. I'll just put £150 again. Yeah, years, I'm going to leave it for 5 years. We can always change that later. And then you just hit next. So you need to name the pie. I'm just going to give it something that is easy to remember. Right. And there we go. Now we are ready. So all I need to do really here is just hit Fund Pie. And when I do that, it will just guide you to this page here where it will ask you to either link your bank account or just put some deposits. And so once you complete setting up your payment method or linking your bank account, it will automatically deposit the funds in your Pi. Just a quick one. If you are finding value in this video so far, can I ask you for a very small favor that will only take 3 seconds of your time? Would you be able to click the subscribe button below this video? It honestly makes a massive difference to this small channel. And it's your kind act of subscribing that tells me you want more of this content. And it will certainly help me with making even more content for you. So thank you very much in advance. Moving on. Right, and so now that we've set everything up, all we have to do now is wait for time to go by to see the results. But lucky for you, my friend, you don't have to wait because I already done the experiment and I already have the results after 5 months. And so let's have a look at the outcome. So basically, as we said, this experiment have ran for 5 months and I've invested £150 every month, meaning that the total amount that was invested is £150 times 5 equal £750. And at the time of recording this video, the value of my portfolio is £811, which is a gain of £61. And if we were to look at it from a percentage point, that would be a gain of just under 8%. I guess for the length of this experiment, this result is actually not bad. And quite frankly, this experiment actually got started at a perfect time. Because if you look at this graph here, this was the S&P 500's performance throughout this year. And I'm pretty sure you can see that massive dip in the middle, which happened around a period between February and April 2025. And this massive dip was largely caused by the tariffs chaos that was happening between the period of February 2025 and April 2025. And if we look at when this experiment got started, you can see that it got started literally at the very bottom of the dip. So there couldn't have been a better time in this year to get started on this. But just to clarify, I don't hold a crystal ball that told me start at that date. It was honestly pure luck. I just happened to get this idea of starting this experiment on that date. And so because of how well the S&P 500 did over the last few months, we got to see some great results on this experiment. I mean, it still really shouldn't matter because it could have very easily been the other way around and ended up with the complete opposite result. And so the best technique to reduce the effect of when you start investing on your investing results is to just basically use what we did in this video, which is investing regularly, or also what's called dollar cost averaging, or actually in this case, pound cost averaging. It makes life so much easier to just take an amount and put it every month in the stock market, regardless of what the stock market is doing. And now that you've got to see what it's like to invest £150 every month for 5 months with real life market conditions, if you want to take this to the next level, then the advice I can give you is be around people who are on the same path as you. And if you'd like, I'm currently thinking of launching a community dedicated for UK investors where you can ask questions, share your experience, and perhaps share your portfolio with others and get feedback. And as part of that as well, I'm thinking of doing live workshops where we can get together, grab a cup of tea, and talk about investing topics and personal finance. Right now, there are dozens of people who've already joined the waiting list. And so if you are interested and this sounds great to you, then you can join the waiting list by either scanning the QR code on screen or by clicking the link in the description or in the first comment. Thank you for listening. See you later, my friend.